had a twin, I was still true.
This is a morning show, for God's sake.
DJ Envy.
Better known as the People's Choice. And salute to all my light-skinned brothers out there.
Jess Hilarious.
Jess with the worldwide mess. Jess don't do no lying.
And Charlamagne the God.
Donkey today.
Everybody come to the Breakfast Club. I call this the hot seat.
You're alive.
Breakfast Club is like being on America's front porch.
Don't feel like my rich cousins that never talk to me.
Every time I go to the Breakfast Club, I know it's gonna be like a good morning.
I'm getting
Good morning, USA.
Yo, 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 yo.
Jess is on maternity leave. What up, Lauren LaRosa?
Good morning.
Charlamagne the God.
Peace to the planet. It's Thursday. Good morning to you. What's happening?
It is Thursday. How you feeling out there? How you feeling, Lauren?
I feel great.
You still having that fight this morning?
Oh yeah, I'm about to, knuckle up in a second. Got the
eyelash
lashes right here. I
kicking
told
her
you.
ass.
Yeah,
I didn't even try to rush it today. I said I'm doing sitting right here, so y'all can see me win this one.
This is sad. I feel blessed
Yeah,
and
y'all
black
can
and
see
highly
me.
favored this morning, man. Another day to serve our beautiful listeners here on the Breakfast Club. Happy Thursday to one and all.
Yes.
I went to go see the good sister Stephanie Mills last night. I went to go to Hadestown on Broadway.
How was
yeah.
it?
How was that?
Yeah, it was fantastic. She's
Yo.
on. I think she's on until the 20th.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're here in New York City, I know a lot of people like to come to New York City for the holidays. If you're a Broadway person, like I'm a Broadway person, I love a good stage play. Go check out Hadestown with Stephanie Mills.
Okay.
She on that stage for so long. All I kept thinking about was like, man, she gonna need some Epsom salt with some warm water when this show is over.
She said that though.
Yeah, she
Got her
said that.
standing up the whole damn time.
She said her feet be hurting. She said Monday is her day off and she just relaxes, lay in the bed and chill.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, got a big show for you today.
Who we got today? Who's on here?
I don't know because usually they put it on the sheet right here, but there is no sheet this
I
morning.
do know who's here. We have
The mayor of Maryland.
well, that's one person.
The governor of
Westmore,
Maryland.
not
Governor
the mayor.
Westmore. He'll be joining us.
Can't be the
Governor-
mayor of Maryland.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Governor of
The
Westmore.
Governor Westmore.
Governor Westmore.
will be here.
And
Stephanie Okafor will be here. She has a
I
book
think
called
it's Ikafor.
Huh? No, it's Okafor,
Don't
like
hit
the
me. I don't know
basketball
how to
player.
say the last
Is it
name.
Okafor?
Pastor
Ikafor?
Stephanie Okafor.
From One Church LA. I know that.
Yes.
This is bad.
That's not bad. You're the one
we
messing
don't-
it up.
Well,
Pastor
we don't have it.
Stephanie
Usually I have
Okafor.
it. Okay, well,
I'm
I'll
telling you. Would
right
you listen for a
here.
second?
Look.
Yes. Pastor Stephanie Okafor will be here. She's got a new book out called The Power of Your Dreams, a guide to hearing and understanding how God speaks.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
I don't know. That pronunciation is not easy.
Yeah, it's
Stephanie Okafor.
They're saying it's Okafor.
Well, that's her middle name, the IKE part. Her last name is Okafor.
Oh, they
Yes.
should have put a little bit more space right there.
Yes.
What's on his paper? Okay.
Stephanie Okafor will be
Okafor,
here.
okay.
She has a new book called The Power of Your Dreams, a guide to hearing and understanding how God speaks while you sleep.
There you go.
It is a book about the power of your dreams.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get the show cracking. We got front page news. Morgan Wood will be joining us, so don't go anywhere. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa filling in for Jess, and let's get in some front page news. All right. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. Good morning. I wish it was a good morning if you're in Florida. If you're waking up this morning, it is definitely a good morning in terms of that regards. But there is a lot of devastation that Milton has done in terms of this storm. Okay, so let's get into it. Hurricane Milton made landfall on Florida's central west coast as of Category 3 storm in Siesta Key, one of Sarasota's barrier islands, packing winds around 120 miles per hour. Multiple reports say Milton still could be the most destructive storm to hit Florida in a century, and residents are being told to expect a life-threatening storm surge. Now, speaking from the White House, President Biden said personnel and assets are on the ground in Florida, and he's declared an emergency in the state. Let's hear from President Biden.
Milton still carries incredible destructiveness, can wipe out communities, can cause loss of life. Storm surge is still expected to be up to 13 feet. We're going to work with state officials to clear debris, restore power, and do it as fast as possible. The Army Corps of Engineers will pump out water and decrease flooding. We've already directed the Department of Defense to be ready to provide active duty service members to support Florida.
Yeah, so Biden went on to say that he will be in constant contact with local officials as the aftermath is underway. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris, she joined FEMA officials yesterday before the storm made landfall. And here's what she had to say in part.
Already, we have sent more than 1,000 federal personnel to be on the ground in Florida to assist with what needs to happen in the state to prepare for this hurricane, and we will continue to scale up those efforts. To the people of Florida, and in particular the people of the Tampa region, so please listen to your local officials. They know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. In the hours and days ahead, President Biden and I and our administration will continue to do everything we can to protect the people who have been in the path of this storm. And once the storm has passed, we will be there to help folks recover and rebuild.
It's amazing because a lot of people actually hung up on the fact in that call that she appeared to be telling one of her staffers that she was on a live broadcast ahead of those comments. So first responders in Florida say they've been limited in performing rescues because of the intense winds from Hurricane Milton. Authorities are warning people in Central Florida that even if they call 911, they will essentially be on their own until conditions are deemed safe for them to venture out. They say that includes calls from people who have lost touch with family members or who are anxious about property damage. Those calls are not the immediate right now. It's the rescue, search and rescue missions. Hurricane Milton, of course, again, made landfall last night as a Category 3 storm before being downgraded to a Cat 1. Unfortunately, there is a loss of life in St. Lucie County, Florida, where as many as 17 tornadoes touched down ahead of Hurricane Milton, making landfall. But we'll talk more about that in the 7 o'clock hour. You guys have any thoughts on what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to me how many people don't understand how natural disasters make people's already terrible situation worse. Like when you're dealing with, poor and disenfranchised individuals who live paycheck to paycheck and they have to deal with natural disasters, they don't have the money to evacuate. They don't have the money to rebuild. After a storm hits. This is what the brother Tone was saying when he called yesterday. When it comes to poor people in this country, years of societal neglect, from America, years of systemic oppression have these people in a situation that they simply, can't win in. And it's just amazing how many people don't realize that.
Yeah, it's very sad. And to double what Charlamagne is saying, a lot of people couldn't even prepare for the storm because they couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford to cover their windows. They couldn't afford to get some of the sand and the barricades to make sure the water. Yeah, they can't afford the plywood to make sure their stuff is safe. So a lot of people out. I spoke to my son out in Miami. Miami wasn't hit as hard as expected. At 8 o'clock, he was FaceTiming me, and it was still it hadn't even rained as of yet. And my family out in Tampa, they was just saying it was very nasty. They said they have no power. They said it was a lot of damage. They couldn't go outside to see exactly what the damage was because they didn't want to go outside in the wind. But they'll know more this morning when the sun comes up. So.
And I think people get upset at government, local and federal, because people just want to know how are you going to help them rebuild when the storm is over. Not just rebuilding the state, but helping them rebuild personally. They're going to need a hand up. Will that be provided? You can't get mad when people see the money that they have for war, when they see the money that they have for, border issues, the migrants. They want to make sure they're going to get that kind of financial relief too. They see the billions being spent on other things. They want the same right here in this country. And I don't see the problem with that.
I think too, like I have family in Florida, and they were saying, like when I reposted the video yesterday that we posted from Andrew Gillum. They were saying that like it's for some people that are older, have older family, it's hard for them to understand how to get to that stuff, like how to. So like now,
how to fill out the paperwork, where to go to fill out the paperwork.
Yeah, so I had a lot of people hitting me yesterday, like, what are the websites? Like, they just didn't understand certain stuff.
But that's why information is important.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, that is front page news. Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you. We'll talk more on at 7 a.m.
Everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. Again, 800-585-1051. Call us up right now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Ray! Yo, Charlamagne, Envy, what up? Are we live?
This is your time to get it off your chest.
I got an indoor pool, an outdoor pool.
We want to hear from you on The Breakfast Club.
We can get on the phone right now. He'll tell you what it is. We live?
Hello, who's this?
Yo, this is Barry. What's going on, everybody?
What's up, brother? Get it off your chest.
King.
Yo, man, this is with all due respect, man, but I listen to y'all every day. Charlamagne, every word that's pronounced with an STR, like street and stress, you pronounce it with an SCR, that's street and stress. Why you do that, man?
Because I'm from South Carolina.
He got lisp.
That ain't got nothing to do with the lisp. Just growing up, that's how we say street straight strong.
Okay. All right, brother. Well, respect, man. I just want to say good morning to everybody. I listen every day, man.
Yes, sir.
I can't listen to y'all in the morning, but I do the podcast on the way home. Y'all do though. But good looking, man. Y'all do a good job, man. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you. We are glad you listen to the podcast. Okay. And I want everybody to subscribe to the podcast, the Breakfast Club podcast, wherever you subscribe to podcasts.
Hello, who's this?
It's Micah.
What's up, Micah? Can you take us off Bluetooth or speaker, whatever you got us on, brother?
All right, here we go. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. I can hear you much better. Get it off your chest.
Yes. What's up, Envy?
How you doing, brother?
Uncle Charlamagne. How you doing,
Peace,
Lord?
King.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. It's a blessing to be alive today. It's a blessing to be on Breakfast Club.
Yes, sir.
I'm coming out. I'm calling from Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
I wanted to piggyback off of yesterday. I just listened to an old boy from Tampa, and he was very upset. And it's been on my mind lately, and I feel him.
Yes,
the
sir.
immigrants to come over here and get all this money. We've been spending all these billions of dollars on war, and we can't even take care of our own people in our country. That's a problem. Big problem.
I mean, the funny part is it's nothing new. Tupac told us a long time ago they got money for war but can't feed the poor. You know what I mean?
Hey, you already know.
That's right.
And I just wanted to spread some love this morning because, somebody didn't wake up this morning, and we got to do a better job of loving our neighbors.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to keep it short, and I'm going to keep it simple. Y'all have a wonderful day today, and continue to say y'all prayers for those down south. And I'm out. I love y'all.
All right, brother.
Love you too, King.
One.
It's just amazing to me how people really don't understand that. Like, they don't realize, like, when you're just watching and you see billions of dollars going to war, you see billions of dollars going to things like the border and migrants, you're going to be upset about that if you're a poor and disenfranchised person here in America. That is just common sense. I don't know why people don't understand why folks be upset.
It's clear. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, hit us up now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. This is your time to get it off your chest, whether you're mad or blessed.
I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. Everything with me is blessed.
Call up now. 800-585-1051.
Not just me. I'm what the culture feeling.
Hello, who's this?
Hey, good morning. This is Dwayne from Milwaukee.
What's up, Dwayne? Get it off your chest, brother.
Oh, yeah, I just want to piggyback on what Charlamagne was saying earlier about poor and impoverished people dependent on the government. I feel like we need to get back to two-parent households. Black men and women specifically, we need each other now more than ever.
I agree.
We all, yes, sir. We always intuitive with each other, but if quote-unquote baby mamas and baby fathers can get back together, establish solid foundations, that will make life a hell of a lot easier. We can't do anything about natural disasters, but if we can get together and raise our families properly, we can do a lot more good than what's going on out here. And T. Grizzly just shared something earlier this week about visiting a juvenile detention center in Chicago. These kids are 13, 14, 15 years old catching bodies. They need their fathers, man. And we got to stop acting like women can do it by themselves. I love my strong black women, but these kids need their dads. We got to get back to two-parent households.
All right, brother. Thank you.
I don't disagree with you at all.
Hello, who's this?
DJ NV, Charlamagne the God.
Peace, King.
Lauren.
Good morning.
Lauren.
You're doing an amazing job. I love you on the show.
Thank you.
I wish there was a way that you and Jess can be on the show at the same time.
We miss Jess. We waiting on Jess to come back. Mm-hmm. Lauren's doing a phenomenal job, though.
Yeah, she is. Big up, Jess. We're waiting on you to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say a special prayer to all the people in Florida. Just big up on yourself and stay blessed. That's it.
Big up on yourself.
All right, bro.
No, not big up on yourself. Big up yourself.
Big up yourself.
Yeah.
He just changed his accent quick.
Big up on yourself.
Charlamagne, you need to learn how to talk patois.
I know a little patois. I can speak a little patois.
He knows no patois. Thank you, sir.
My patois better than Drake's.
No, it's not. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, you can hit us up. Now we got Jess With The Mess with Lauren LaRosa coming up.
Wagwan,
yes.
Lauren.
Speaking of Drake, J. Cole is addressing the Kendrick Lamar Drake situation, so we're going to get on into it.
All right.
Light-skinned lyrics at his finest. Beige bars.
Yo, shut up, man.
Okay.
We'll get to it next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
What are you laughing at?
Just a funny song.
Let's get to Jess with the Mess with Lauren LaRosa.
News is real, whether it's Jess Hilarious, Jessica Robin Moore, just don't do no lies,
She don't spare nobody.
Worldwide Jess, worldwide Mess.
On The Breakfast Club.
She's the coach of shit.
With Lauren LaRosa.
I'm back. And I got the mess.
Talk to me.
All right, so J. Cole dropped new music via his Instagram. It's a song called Port Antonio, a 5-minute track. And this track addresses him deciding to back out of the beef with the Kendrick Lamar Drake stuff after he apologized.
Who the hell is Antonio?
I don't know.
Port Antonio?
Port.
Oh, Port. Oh, okay.
Port. Like you transfer over. We're not in politics anymore. You've been saying poor and disenfranchised all morning.
Port Antonio.
Port, like Taylor's Port.
Got you.
Okay, Port Antonio. So let's take a listen to the first part of this song where he directly addresses the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef.
I pulled the plug because I seen where that was about to go. They wanted blood, they wanted clicks to make their pockets grow. They see this fire in my pen and think I'm dodging smoke. I wouldn't have lost the battle, dog, I would've lost the bro. I would've gained a phone, and all for what? Just to attain some old props from strangers that don't got a clue what I've been aiming for since the age of 14. Jermaine is no king, if that means I gotta dig up dirt and pay the whole team of algorithm botting. It's just to sway the whole thing on social media, competing for your favorable memes to be considered best or living rest. The weight of both things. I understand the thirst of being first that made them both swing, protecting legacies. So lines got crossed, perhaps regrettably. My friends went to war, I walked away with all they blood on me.
Dropping includes bonds for J. Cole. Light-skinned lyrics, beige bars.
Very mature.
He was spitting.
Cole can rap.
He can.
I'm never mad at hearing Cole rap. I didn't like the line he said about paying the team of algorithm bot N-words. Could have been just a generic line because that's what so many people are doing, but it also reinforces the narrative they was trying to put out there about Kendrick buying bots and, you know, saying that's what he was using to push his records.
Well, I think they both said both sides were using it.
Yeah, I think you could use that on both sides because they be saying they said about Drake. They say bots, but they also say he like feeds, like he has like academics and like people like that.
But I saw more of that narrative towards Kendrick. I saw them pushing that towards Kendrick way more. But also too, Cole said I wouldn't have lost the battle. Yes, you would have. Okay, anybody would have lost that battle against Kung Fu Kenny.
He would have hung though.
No, he wouldn't have.
I think he would. I think he would have hung in there. I think he would have hung in there.
No,
I didn't say win, but he would have hung in there a bit.
Man. I mean, Drake hung in there for a little bit too, but he still got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Drake
Who would have hung better though, Drake or J. Cole?
Pause. Okay.
Oh God.
Pause. Whoa. Okay. All right. By the way, I will always say Drake did nothing wrong in the battle except for the Heart Part 6. That was the only misstep. Other than that, the music was up to par. But Kung Fu Kenny was just on another level.
Kung Fu Kenny was on another level. It was his moment. Like sometimes you just can't take somebody's moment. It was his moment. I would have loved to see J. Cole battling because people have been talking about that top 3 for the longest time, and that was the time to show his lyrical. But I guess he felt differently, and that's why he put out that record.
Big 3. It's just big K dot. Okay, that has been established.
Well,
all right. Drake put up 30. But Kendrick dropped 81, 15, 81, 23 assists, 26 rebounds, 22 steals, okay? 19 blocks.
Well, there's a second part of the song where he's kind of like giving Drake like some motivational talk. Let's take a listen to that.
They stripped me of my spot and now I'm finally free. They say I'm picking sides, hey, don't you lie on me, my to start another war, hey Drake, you'll always be my I ain't ashamed to say you did a lot for me, my off guard narratives. Tapping back into your magic pen is what's imperative. Reminding these folks why we do it. It's not for beefing, it's for speaking our thoughts, pushing ourselves, reaching the chart.
That's so funny.
Now, this because it sounds like a participation award, don't it?
It just sounds like, he
means well, though.
It just sounds like one light-skinned brother telling another light-skinned brother keep their head up. Like, you know what I think about? You remember that video of the 2 brothers on the basketball court when the brother got his head down? So he
and another brother says, lift your head up.
That's all called, just lifting your head up.
Nah, I think because of that relationship, he says, I'm still your guy, and F these people on these platforms like Charlamagne.
Please. He
just
saw
get back
Drake.
to rapping.
He saw Drake.
That's probably what it was.
He saw Drake introduce me, myself, and I, and Drake walked backstage like this. I'm cool.
Yo, put his head up. No, stop it. That's his guy.
You.
And he's just saying, stay in your lane, bro. Don't let these radio personalities and these people in these comments get you out your scope.
But do you have to tell Drake that though? Like Drake is still
exactly.
Why people act like Drake's still not Drake after this? Like he's still Drake. He lost, but
people still need pep talk.
Yes, that's still his bro. He wants to make sure his bro's head is in the right place. When you got people like Charlamagne that's gonna keep.
It ain't no Charlamagne.
A person like Charlamagne is gonna take that little verse. He gonna put like the stuff you gonna post online with that is.
This ain't got nothing to do with me. All I'm simply saying is Cole saw him. Cole saw Drake saying "me, myself, and I," and he's like, "You're not by yourself, okay? I am here with you, my biracial brother. Together we make one black man.
Together we make one black man is foul. That is crazy. That is crazy.
It takes a village on the record. It's crazy.
Salute to J. Cole. It does take a village of light skin
Y'all are
brother.
so mean. Well, shout out to J. Cole
I
for his
love
elevated way of thinking.
Keep spitting.
I loved it.
Spitting pause.
Yeah,
you keep going in, bro.
It was real grown. It was very grown.
I loved it.
I would have loved to see him in that battle, but I understand. Keep going.
No, I would not have loved to see him in the battle.
I wouldn't have either, because where he's at right now mentally,
that's fine.
No, you need a bit of
that's fine. But when
like Kendrick was like
But when you claiming you the best in the past raps, when you claiming you the best and you get tested, you gotta fight back.
Biggie said it the best. Don't make moves if your heart ain't in it. You know what I'm saying? And I think Cole did what was best for him and his peace.
Yes.
I said this when he made the move. He did what was best to protect his peace. I have no problem with that. And I think this record that he put out, Poor Antonio. Is Antonio Drake's middle name or something?
Shut up,
Antonio.
Oh, look and see.
It might be a location.
Is it Aubrey Antonio Graham?
No, it's not. I don't think so.
It's a location, so it might have been like where he was when he recorded it or something. I don't know. I don't know that, so don't.
Is that in Texas?
I think it's in Jamaica. I'm going to look it up. Yeah, it's a city in Jamaica.
All right. Well, that is Jess with the Mess with Law and LaRosa. All right.
So are we getting the fall off? Is this like a? Because you know what this record felt like? It felt like Sage. It felt like let me sage.
Let me clean.
Yeah, let me sage the room.
He been sage since he apologized. Sure. That's just where he at right now.
But to the people gave Cole a lot of flack, for the move that he made, apologizing. I thought it was a great move, but the people gave him a lot of flack. So I think that this is his way of putting a button on that, so he can move on to
more
the
sage.
fall off.
Yeah, now
the fall off coming.
Leaving sage, he going to crystals.
All right. Well, that is Jess with the Mess with Law and LaRosa. We got anything light skin you can play right now?
Anything light skin is crazy.
Anything light skin is insanity.
We got you. We don't got to play no music.
Yeah, we do. That's right. You are enough.
You can't do that and then go to Kendrick.
Enough.
You can't play that and
yes,
go to
Kendrick.
Yes,
you can. If a Kendrick record was scheduled, you play a Kendrick record. Okay?
What?
That is
it
for the first hour. Leave them light skin people alone.
Let's go real black. Glorilla is very black. I hear the ancestors when Glorilla raps.
It's the front page. Front page news is up next. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
You're checking out the Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa is filling in for Jess. Let's get in some front page news. Now, some quick sports. The Yankees beat the Royals last night. They lead the series 2-1. The Dodgers beat the Padres. They tied the series 2-2. The Mets move on. They beat the Phillies 4-1. Congratulations to the Mets. And the Tigers are still leading the series 2-1.
So where did the Mets go now? I don't watch baseball. It was better when everybody was on steroids. So where did they go? So they're not going to the World Series,
Not
right?
yet. They got one more game before the World Series.
So the semifinals.
One more series before the World Series, yeah. Tonight, the Minnesota Lynx also take on the New York Liberty in Game 1. That happens at 8. And the Thursday Night Football, the 49ers take on the Seattle Seahawks at 8:15. What's up, Morgan?
What's up is we are still following the aftermath of Hurricane Milton after it made landfall as a Category 3 storm before being downgraded overnight to a Cat 1. Now, St. Lucie County out of Florida, officials say that at least 2 people have died from Hurricane Milton after tornadoes hit the area. Sheriff Keith Pearson confirmed that there have been multiple fatalities at a senior living community in Fort Pierce, about 2 hours southeast of Orlando. Again, 17 tornadoes have estimated 17 tornadoes touched down. Let's hear more from St. Lucie Sheriff Keith Pearson.
We've got reports of 17 confirmed tornadoes that just destroyed our community. Now, there's been over 100 residences that are completely destroyed, and we don't even have the hurricane here yet with the sustained winds. So right now we're focusing in a 55 and older community that's mainly consisted of modular homes that, you wouldn't even recognize it. Right now we're in 100% rescue mode. Our deputies are out there going through this neighborhood that was just devastated by these multiple tornadoes that touched down in such a short period of time.
So meanwhile, Tampa Bay residents, you mentioned this earlier, Envy, about Tampa. Tampa Bay residents, they will get a look this morning as the sun rises. The damage of Hurricane Milton that Hurricane Milton caused after making landfall. They'll likely see a lot of water damage. The storm dumped over a foot of rain in parts of the area overnight. Some neighborhoods are flooded. The wind was so strong that part of the roof at the Tropicana Field Stadium, the home of baseball's Tampa Bay Rays in St. Petersburg, that came off. Also in St. Pete, a construction crane crashed onto a building downtown. Now, no injuries were reported in that incident, but millions of customers across the state do remain without power as of right now. National Hurricane Center Director Michael Brennan, he is sharing some tips for those impacted by Hurricane Milton. Let's hear from National Hurricane Center Director Michael Brennan.
So we want to talk about widespread power outages. How do you keep yourself safe? You want to use flashlights and not candles. You want to practice portable generator safety. We lose a lot of people to carbon monoxide poisoning from improper generator use. And you want to be careful with any food and water left in your home without refrigeration. Again, make sure that it's safe to eat. Be careful after the storm cleaning up. Don't overexert yourself. We have a lot of people succumb to cardiac arrest, heart attacks, other medical issues after the storm. And be careful with cleanup equipment, chainsaws. And also you have to be careful in the heat, post-storm heat. It's still going to be Florida.
Yeah, so this comes as President Biden is actually slamming former President Trump for the recent comments that he's made about the storms, the aftermath, and the resources going out in regards to that. Now, Biden has called Trump's comments reckless, irresponsible, relentless, and he went on to say, quite frankly, these lies are un-American, adding that former President Trump has led this onslaught of lies. Now, this comes after Trump has accused relief efforts to going towards migrants as opposed to those relief efforts going towards the residents of Florida. Sheesh, it's just sad to hear those. Like you said, these continue to see that this is a politicized event, or it's always going to be a politicized event. But switching gears to the political spectrum, Republicans are going after Vice President Kamala Harris for saying she'd do nothing differently from President Biden. Now, she made these comments while speaking on The View earlier this week. The VP was asked what she would have done differently from Biden over the past 4 years, and this is what she had to say.
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
So the Trump-Vance campaign immediately pounced on the response with J.D. Vance posting, Kamala Harris is more of the same, adding she admits it herself. The Harris campaign earlier said the candidate would highlight some differences she had with Biden. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, she definitely needs to highlight differences, especially being that President Biden is not a popular president to the American people. Like, President Biden has some good things that he's done, while he's been in the White House the past almost 4 years, but he's not a popular president. So just from a campaign strategy, you should say, oh, we definitely have a lot of differences, and just maybe leave it at that and say, hey, I'll explain later. But yes, there's a lot of things that I would definitely do different, but I am proud of the good things that we have done. Like, leave it at that, right? But don't say you don't think of nothing you would change.
I guess she didn't want to issue on him, you know what I mean? But I'm with you. A lot of people are not happy with Biden. So the fact that you're saying that I wouldn't change anything, and the fact that people are not necessarily happy about that makes it sound a little crazy.
I don't know why politicians have to be so scary.
I don't either.
Like, it's nothing wrong with her distancing herself, and I don't know why. Like, it's
especially because he's
afraid.
out of here too.
Yeah, it's like she's afraid to. At first, people were saying that it was going to be a bad look if she did because it was going to look like she wasn't loyal to the party. But now it's like we're all here telling the truth. So,
right. I mean, maybe she's still, she's still doing the job. She's got double duty, like you guys said yesterday.
But you can say that he did some good things, but also say that we have a lot of differences. Like, I mean, when you got an approval rating like as low as Joe Biden, there's nothing wrong with saying, yeah, I got some differences with this guy. Just from a campaign strategy.
No, yeah, you're right about that. Speaking of campaign strategies, former President Trump, he is headed to New York. He's planning a major rally at Madison Square Garden later this month. It's set for October 27th, just 9 days before Election Day. That's according to the New York Post, which broke the story. Now, the newspaper says it'll be first come, first serve event if you want to go. The Garden can seat up to 19,500 people in the main arena, and Trump expects to fill those seats, saying he'll honor police, firefighters, and teachers. Trump Trump, who's 78, believes he's got a real shot at turning New York red. So to your point yesterday about New York being a blue state, well, Trump is up for the challenge, Charlamagne.
Well, I think he's doing that just for the spectacle of it all. Like, New York is the number one media capital, so you do an event at Madison Square Garden, you're going to suck the air out of all the headlines, especially with, the VP having she's had a great press run this week. I don't care what nobody's saying. Being that she's had a great press run, she's got a lot of headlines. So he got to do something to suck the air out of the headlines, because the more she continues to do press, the more headlines she's going to get. And she kind of boxes, him and Vance out. So I think he's just doing this for the spectacle of it all.
Who y'all think he's going to bring out?
At the Garden?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
If for anything, on October 27th, mark your calendar to make sure that you stay clear of that area for traffic purposes. And that's your front page news. I'm Morgan Wood. Follow me on social at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, make sure you're following at Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at BINnews.com. Thank you guys. Talk to y'all tomorrow.
Thank you, Morgan. Now, when we come back, the governor of Maryland, Governor Wes Moore, will be joining us. We'll talk to him next, so don't go anywhere. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa filling in for Jess, and we had our sister, Miss Angela, ride with us this morning.
Hey.
And we got a special guest in the building, and we have the governor of Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Wes Moore. Welcome, brother.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Good to see y'all.
How you feeling?
I'm blessed. I'm good. I'm feeling really good. We're almost there. We got 26 days and a wake up to go do something special.
How you feeling? How you feeling about the chances of Madam Vice President?
Listen, I think this race is going to be close.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this race is always going to be close. This race is going to be close up until Election Day. I think this is a turnout game, and that's why I think that this isn't about are we swaying people one way or another. It's are we motivating people to come out in the first place. And you're not finding a team that's working harder right now, both amongst the vice president, who has just been, I think she's just run a fantastic campaign, and she is the right candidate. But in addition to that, you have a whole army of surrogates who are out here every single day in all the battleground states, speaking to our constituents and our jurisdictions, and letting people know what's at stake and what we can actually get done if we actually get out there and make our voices heard.
You feel like the surrogates got activated too late for the Democratic Party? Because even when President Biden was running, I was saying that, he should be leaning on people like you, leaning on Governor Gretchen Whitmer, leaning on Governor Shapiro, leaning on the VP at the time. Do you feel like the surrogates got activated too late? And if so, why did y'all choose to fall back?
I don't know if it was activated too late, because when I think about myself and Gretchen and Josh and countless others, we've been out there and fighting and advocating at that time for President Biden. But then, we're grateful we have that he has such an extraordinary vice president, and we're going to have such an extraordinary president come January, and Vice President Kamala Harris. But also, I think we have to remember and consistently give grace to the vice president. She's had a presidential campaign, for 10 weeks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In 10 weeks, she stood up an entire new campaign. She was able to get all of the delegates and all the delegates she needed. They ran a very successful convention. She had a very successful rollout of a vice president. She's gone through not just her demolishing her debate with Trump, but then also Governor Walz's. And that's been 10 weeks. So I do think we have to give a little bit of grace to what has actually happened in just a pretty short period of time.
I was going to ask, what do you think they need to do more of, right? We talked about, of course, the media blitz that they've been doing this week, talking to more and more people. Yeah. Well, we felt for a long time that they didn't, and we seen Trump and JD out there like crazy. So what do you think they need to do more to connect to those people that might be still on the fence of which way they want to go?
Well, I think they need to keep doing what they're doing, which is going out and speaking directly to people. I hear people say, well, they need to do more sit-down interviews, they need to go and meet the press, they need to do this. Respectfully, I don't know if that's going to move an election. Go to the people, because the people are going to be the ones to help to determine how this election goes and how people are going to see and receive. And I think the other big thing that we've got to do is, I understand that she's running against someone who is historically and uniquely unqualified and prepared for this role. And let's just take the past 72 hours, right? The past 72 hours, we just got reports that he was deciding how much aid to give California during wildfires based on their voting districts, right? In the past 72 hours, we had him literally say that Vice President Kamala Harris was born mentally impaired, right? In the past 72 hours, we have seen how the signature injury of Iraq and Afghanistan, and I'm a very proud veteran of the Afghanistan war. And the signature injury, over 500,000 people who have been diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries, right? The signature injury. We heard the former president of the United States say, it's nothing more than headaches. Right? So, I mean...
You didn't even mention the Putin stuff.
And not even mention the fact that he's got this consistent thing going on with Putin. So, my thing is, I don't think we need to spend a whole lot more time talking about the dangers of Donald Trump. Frankly, he tells on himself every single day. I think we have to just continually push and articulate the vision for the vice president, which is actually a vision not just that brings us together, but is detailed. You know, when we're talking about things like a $6,000 child tax credit, that could be the most aggressive push that we can make on a federal level to end child poverty that we have seen in this country. When she's talking about things like increasing capital and liquidity to our small businesses and to our minority-owned businesses, making sure that going from an idea into a large concept and something that you're hiring, tens and thousands of people can be real for all communities and not just some. These are detailed plans that she's laying out. Her housing package about how to focus on transit-oriented development and how to focus on density bonuses and increasing inventory and turning renters into homeowners. Like, these are detailed. These aren't concepts of a plan. These are detailed plans. And so as long as she continues to do that, and for all of us, because all of us as her surrogates, we will continue pushing that message as well. And I think that's going to be the message that is going to win the day, and not so much focusing on, the dangers of Trump. I think people get that.
Let me ask you one more question. A lot of people out there feel like both sides just don't really care, that it's all a political game, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you pull up that audio? A gentleman called. This is the perfect way to say it. Can you play it?
They playing in our faces, bro. You get Ukrainians come over here, they get what they want. You get immigrants come over here, they get what they want. And you got people being denied these FEMA applications that you talking about the other day, Charlamagne. People being denied, bro. But you getting these migrants coming over here, $10,000 food stamps, bro. Your goddamn $5,000 cash stipends, man. This shit hurting, bro. We finna get ready to damn near die, bro. A lot of people couldn't afford to evacuate. And this government playing in our face, man. It don't matter what they is, Democrat, Republican, they all treason, man.
You're absolutely right, my
Damn,
brother.
I can't wait for God to come back, man.
He said he wish God could come back.
And that's the sentiments we've been hearing a lot from just opening up the phone lines and how people feel about government officials. So what do you say to those people that really feel like they have no hope, where they're saying, I wish God would come back?
I mean, here's listening to him, because it's real. We can't forget, man. I mean, and when people talk about what's the frustration that people feel, I think for a lot of people, it's not a frustration with the vice president. It's not a frustration with a political party. It's the frustration with the pace of progress in this country.
That's right.
Period. It's just a frustration that it's like every few years we have these conversations and people do not feel that their lives are improving fast enough, particularly when they're looking at the lives of other people who are improving faster. And so, I mean, when I hear that, it's not just heartbreaking, but I'm listening to this brother. I'm saying what he's saying is justified. Obviously, I don't come from a political family. I don't come from a political background. The first elected office I ever ran for was governor, and I literally I was trying to convince members of my family to vote for me when I ran for governor. Like, real talk, and it wasn't like I was trying to convince them to vote for me. I was trying to convince them to vote.
Why didn't they believe in you?
Yeah. Maybe that's another question. That's a whole other question, Charlamagne.
Because I know you from being the CEO of the Robin Hood Foundation, so you've always been in the public service space.
Yeah.
But why didn't they believe in you? Because you've been doing the work.
If anybody gonna harp on your pain, it's gonna be.
You know what I mean?
And laugh at it.
And laugh at it.
No.
Just laugh at it. He's like, tell me again how your family don't believe in you. Jesus.
Let's stop right there for a moment.
Jesus. What's wrong with you? No, but it's like, it's that I don't know if they believed in the American political system. Like, can you actually make a difference?
I got you. Yeah.
In that seat. It is important to remember, even for those who feel like, well, who's sitting in these seats doesn't matter to me and the political system doesn't involve me and I'm not engaged in it. I would just say, never forget that everything about your life is a policy decision. You know what I mean? From the home you woke up in this morning to for the way you are policed to every aspect of your life is a policy decision. Someone intentionally made a decision about you and the community you come up in. So do not think for a second that this stuff doesn't matter. But I will say to the people who are heartbreakingly struggling due to Helene, to the folks in Florida, to the folks who right now are saying, do we have a government that sees us and is mobilizing for us? I can tell you from personal, firsthand experience, the answer is yes. And the person who we need sitting in that seat is Kamala Harris.
All right, we got more with the governor of Maryland. Wes Moore with us. When we come back, don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa is filling in for Jess. And, of course, we got our sister Angela Rye with us. We're still kicking it with the governor of Maryland, Governor Wes Moore. Charlamagne?
Can we go back to the pre-governor Wes Moore?
Yeah.
Because, you said you never ran for any office. Right, and I knew you from being the CEO of the Robin Hood Foundation.
Last time I was here.
That's right. So what made you want to run for governor, and what made you feel qualified to run for governor?
Qualified. It's funny because I remember when I got in the race, there were 3 statewide elected officials, 2 cabinet secretaries, 1 person that was on my board, which made board meetings very awkward. And I remember that was the argument they kept on throwing at me about, how's he qualified? And I said, let me explain something. And I said, I'm a kid who, watched my father die in front of me when I was 3 years old because he didn't get the health care he needed. I'm a person who had handcuffs on my wrists when I was 11 because I came up in communities that were over-policed and we knew it. That my mother did not get her first job that gave her benefits until I was 14. And by the way, this is a woman who went on to earn a master's degree. So any conversations about inequitable pay between men and women or the racial wealth gap, it's like, I don't need a white paper to explain that. That I'm a person who joined the Army when I was 17, that I led soldiers in combat, that I worked in finance, I ran my own business, sold that business. I then turned around and was CEO of one of the largest poverty fighting organizations in this country. And my argument to them was, I am never in a room I don't belong in. And let's be clear, I'll put my qualifications against any of them. And we ended up winning with more individual votes than anyone who'd ever run for governor in the history of the state of Maryland. And I think about the thing that really motivated me. And it's funny because we talked a little bit about it last time I was here, where who sits in these seats, it does matter, and what they prioritize does matter. One of the issues that I will never lose an importance of is I do not understand why in this country we allow child poverty. I don't get how we're allowing the destiny of our children to be determined before they even have a say. And so
child poverty starts with adults being poor, right?
Well, that's exactly right. And we can get in that.
Okay.
So I said, and when I was even working over at Robin Hood, I was like, okay, we're going to focus on the issue of the child tax credit. And the big reason, because I thought about over 30 years of philanthropy that Robin Hood has done, remarkable work that Robin Hood has done, that an adjustment on the child tax credit could literally 6-fold and we're talking billions that Robin Hood has done in its history. An adjustment on the child tax credit, making it fully refundable, paying it out monthly, would actually have more of an impact on child poverty by 6-fold than what they've done over 30 years. The reason that we had in my state an 8-to-1 racial wealth gap is not because one group is working 8 times harder. It's because of the Homestead Act. It's because of unfair appraisal values in historically redlined neighborhoods. And it's because of unfair usage of the GI Bill. And it's because of racist procurement policies. So if we understand that policies help to create these dynamics, it has to be policies that have to then unearth them. And so when I gave my first State of the State address, we spent probably a quarter of that thing talking about child poverty and about how we were going to make the most aggressive and bipartisan push in our state's history to end child poverty. And that's exactly what we've done. And so the big reason why I decided to get into this is if you aren't talking about policy on these issues, then you can do philanthropy all you want. You can do all that till you're blue in the face. There is not enough philanthropy in the world to upend bad policies. And so policymakers have got to get in the game. And that's why I just said that I'm as qualified as any of them.
You, since writing the book, The Other Wes Moore, being a White House fellow, a Rhodes Scholar, I think folks have always asked you about your political ambitions. Being on the short list as a VP contender, do you have aspirations to at some point run for president?
No. I'm
cut it out, Wes.
Yeah, I don't buy it either.
Cut it out.
And also, why not? Like
That's a better question. Why not?
I mean,
8 years from now.
No, listen. I know.
You probably didn't think you were going to run for governor too.
And that's the point, right? So I know. Listen, I'm 45. I mean, I'm one of the youngest governors in the country, right? And I love the work that we're doing in Maryland. Maryland's just moving faster than everybody in the country. If you look at everything we are doing, from advancing economic opportunities to creating pathways for work, wages, and wealth, to removing the barriers that exist for people to go into a workforce, the work we've done around criminal justice reform. I mean, I'm really proud of the work that Maryland is doing. I think.
But asking you if you have aspirations at some point to run for president isn't poo-pooing your work in Maryland.
Yeah.
It's saying if you have the approval rating you have right now, which is high,
Yeah.
you've garnered the most amount of support than any other governor who's ever ran in your gubernatorial race. Why not? To Lauren's question now.
Well, I think so. I think for me, it's really twofold. One is my exclusive focus is on making sure that Kamala Harris is the next president of the United States. I can't stress enough how important this is to my state, to my community, that she is the person who becomes the next president
In 2024, but we're saying at some point, if we know that if she does not win, there won't be another election,
needs to win.
which is what
She needs to
No,
win.
right. I'm saying if we know from the statements of the former president that if he wins, there will not be another election. That is a quote.
Yeah.
So we know the importance of her winning. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying why not?
Yeah.
Lauren said why not?
Well, and I think for me, and I don't have an answer, and honestly, it's because I just haven't put enough thought into it.
Yep.
So, for example, Elijah Cummings was like my guy, one of mentor of mine, congressman from Baltimore. And I remember after he passed, there were people who came up to me and were like, "Listen, what do you think about running for Elijah's seat?" He was a mentor of mine, and I didn't do it because it's not that I don't love Elijah. And it's not that I don't want to make sure that his legacy is not honored. It just wasn't speaking to me.
Yeah.
But when I decided I was running for governor, you couldn't have convinced me not to run. When they were like, this person's thinking about getting in, and this person's the former head of the DNC, and this person, I said, good. I look forward to seeing him in the battle. You know what I mean? Because I knew that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. And no one could have convinced me differently. So I'm very at peace with saying, if I'm not in it, I'm not in it. And I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you right now, that's why when I say my focus is really on making sure that Kamala Harris becomes the next president of the United States, like I mean that.
I believe you, but I'm going to tell you something. About 11 years ago, maybe longer, John Sykes, when he introduced me, he said, I want you to meet somebody. He said, I need you to connect with this brother named Westmore. Mm-hmm. He's going to be the next Barack Obama. That's how you were introduced to me 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So people clearly see that.
It's because it feels like you really care about the people.
And I don't think it's because you're black either.
Yeah, I think it's just your care.
And I'm not trying to be the next anybody, let's be clear.
Well, I knew that was coming.
I'm not trying to be the next anybody.
I think at that point, only having one, people say based on what they know. Like we know Kamala Harris also isn't going to be the next Barack Obama. She's going to be the first Kamala Harris.
That's right.
So I think we understand.
Wes is just like, I don't see them in my cards right now.
But when you do run,
maybe 4 years down the line, maybe, but right now, I got another
I'm just
focus.
saying she should say, I'm not thinking about it right now, so they don't run this clip back.
I was about to say that. I was going to say, when you do run, you know they're going to bring it up and be like, well, you said you weren't going to do it.
And I mean what I say is like when I'm locked into something, I'm locked in. And I'm locked into being the governor of the state of Maryland. And I look at what we're doing right now. This really is going to be Maryland's decade. This is going to be our time. Because it's going to time we're just going to lead with love and honesty. And I'm really proud of the results we've gotten so far. And I think the people of Maryland are very happy with it.
All right, we got more with the governor of Maryland. Wes Moore with us. When we come back, don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa is filling in for Jess. And, of course, we got our sister Angela Rye with us. We're still kicking it with the governor of Maryland, Governor Wes Moore. Charlamagne?
One thing you've done that's great, you pardoned 175,000 Maryland convictions related to the possession of weed, including convictions for misdemeanor possession of weed and certain convictions for misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia. What led you to do that?
Well, I do not understand. There's a few things I just don't get. One is how cannabis is in the same classification level as heroin. Like that just makes absolutely no sense. And the other piece was, as we were having this larger movement that was taking place around how people were just completely not acknowledging history and how cannabis was just consistently used as a cudgel, particularly in black communities. And so, cannabis was actually on the ballot in the state of Maryland. In fact, so I ended up getting, more individual votes that year than anybody else. The only thing that beat me on the ballot that year was cannabis. Cannabis won with 70% of the vote. So I'm like, yo, who is cannabis now? How is so popular?
He's a rapper.
He's a rapper.
He's changed.
When I brought up pardons, and I do want to ask you, this one isn't in your purview per se, but there's a federal pardon that I think many of us are still seeking, and that's for Marilyn Mosby. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about the importance of Joe Biden pardoning her before his tenure is up?
So the thing that I would say about it is this, and again, it's both personal. So I try to separate myself from what the personal is. Mm-hmm. And I know that this is a It's not a state decision. This is something that falls exclusively in the hands of the President of the United States. I just keep on thinking about these kids. I keep thinking about her and Nick's daughters. I keep on thinking about the public servants that they have been, and these are two people who have devoted their lives to be able to support the people of Baltimore. Her as a former state's attorney, him as now the city council president. And I just hope as all of these decisions are being made, that compassion and grace is just not lost.
Mm-hmm. So you feel Biden should give her a pardon?
I can't tell the president of the United States what to do. Right. I just hope compassion and grace is never lost in the decision-making process.
Maryland voters I saw them approve of your performance in a recent poll, but they were split on the economy. Yeah. And it bugs me out because why is there a perception that Democrats are not good in regards to the economy when the U.S. economy performs better under Democratic presidents?
I don't think we talk about it the right way, man. Mm. We really don't, and we excuse it. We've made historic investments in childcare in our state, right? We made historic investments in apprenticeship and trade programs. We made historic investments in getting people back into the workforce. We've raised the minimum wage because I just believe deeply that gone should be the days when you have people who are working jobs, and in some cases multiple jobs, and still living at or below a poverty line. That we just passed the most aggressive housing package of any Maryland governor in recent history, and focusing on things like turning renters into homeowners, focusing on things like unfair appraisal values in historically red-line neighborhoods, being able to create capital and liquidity for first-time home buyers, and particularly first-time home buyers who oftentimes are home buyers of color inside of communities. And what has happened is this. Unemployment rate has now dropped to historically low levels. We're now watching economic growth, and we're watching green shoots of new industries that people are actually participating in. And you know what I'm doing? I'm talking about it. I'm talking about the fact that these policies matter. That us being able to create pathways to work and wages and wealth is actually the truest destination, and what we're talking about, what it means to have good policy. You've got to actually talk about it. But if you're not talking about it and you let other people define your narrative, then yeah, of course things are horrible and it's all the Democrats' fault. But we're just not going to let that happen.
All right, and my last question, I saw you on Face the Nation, and I loved what you said. You said that Democrats have to earn the black male vote.
Yeah.
What does earning that vote look like?
It means going out and actually going to seek and speak to it. You know, you're not going to win this race by great commercials.
I mean, they're really effective though if they're great. True. If they're great.
But I mean, but eventually people are just going to hear this stuff so much it's going to get drowned out.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And it's like I will hear a commercial that says one thing, and then literally the next commercial says something that's the absolute opposite. And so if I'm not a person who's really into this, what am I supposed to take away from that? That's not how you're going to win this race. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think about it for our race. We did very, very well with young voters and black voters and all that kind of stuff when I ran for governor. But it wasn't because I was black. It's because we went and earned it. We actually went to communities and we talked about issues, and we talked about issues that matter, and we talked about it in a real way. We talked about why, you know, when I'm speaking about wealth and wealth creation, do you have the ability to own more than you owe? Do you have the ability to pass something off to your children besides debt? That it's the basic asset that you can have something in your life that can give your family a little bit of wiggle room. And, you know, when we talk about housing, I talk about the fact that, you know, I had some issues coming up. And my mother was trying to send me to this military school, you know, ever since I was like 8. And every year she threatened me. And every year I couldn't go. And it wasn't because she's a woman who makes false threats, because she does not make false threats. She couldn't afford it. And then finally when I was 11 years old, after 11 and then 12, and then when I was 13, 14 years old, my mother was finally like, I can't do this, and I'm going to send you to this military school. But do you know how she was able to do it? She started asking people inside of her church if they could help. And people gave a little bit where they could help, whatever like that, but she was still thousands of dollars short. My grandparents. My grandfather was the first one in my mom's side of the family born in this country, born in South Carolina. And the Ku Klux Klan ran them out. Moved back to Jamaica. And much of my family said, we will never come back to this country. And much of my family is not. Much of my family is still in Jamaica.
That's why you said ting earlier.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ting, and you caught yourself saying ting.
You thought he was drinking and driving?
Okay. But he did come back. And as he always said, you know, I say, you know, he had a deep Jamaican accent his entire life. And I think he's maybe the most patriotic American I've ever met. He loves this country. Loved this country. My grandmother, born in Cuba, raised in Jamaica, immigrated to this country. And when they came to this country, he was a minister, she was a school teacher. And they bought a little small home in the Bronx because that was their way of actually owning a piece of this country. And when my mother needed help, they ended up taking money out of their home to then help to pay for that first year of school, which ended up changing the trajectory of my life. I bring that up for this reason. We're just asking that we can just give people a little bit of hope. And it's a little something to hold on to and be proud of. I think as we are talking about what does it mean to go earn the vote, you're not going to earn the vote by slogans. You're going to go earn the vote by looking people in the eye and saying, not just why these policies are going to be better and beneficial for you in your life, but it's going to be really good to have a leader who actually sees you. It's going to be really good to have a leader who actually believes in you, who's willing to fight for you, who when the doors are closed and the decisions are being made, that you can say, you know what? She's thinking about me and my family when those doors are closed. And the decisions that she makes are going to be in the best interest of not only now, but the best interest of the future. And so I just think right now we got a moment where we got a whole lot of people who came before us who are looking at us and asking us, what are you going to do? Are you going to take this moment seriously or not? And I think we got a whole lot of people who are going to come after us, who are looking at us and saying, exhaust yourself, because my future should matter to you that much. And that's why I think that we're going to do what we got to do, because that's the assignment.
Well, Governor Westmore for president for 2032, ladies and gentlemen. Governor Westmore, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you for joining us.
I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
Real,
and you know, anytime you're in town, pull up on us.
You know it.
We don't like the Zoom stuff, so you got to pull up on us in person.
That's
we understand you're busy, so we, you know.
Y'all should come down to Annapolis. You should come down to Maryland.
We'd love to do that. Yeah. Are you related to Jess? Because Jess' last name is Moore, Jess Hilarious.
No, I'm not. But she's my cousin in my head.
Okay.
She's the crazy cousin in your head.
She's my crazy cousin in my head. But I tell you what, Baltimore, we're proud of Jess.
Yeah,
we're proud of Jess
in
Baltimore.
Jess. She'll be back soon.
Yeah, she reps us. She reps us.
Well, it's Governor Westmore. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get to Jess with the Mess with Lauren LaRosa.
News is real, whether it's Jess Hilarious, Jessica Robin Moore, just don't do no lies.
She don't spare nobody.
Worldwide Jess, worldwide mess.
On the Breakfast Club.
She's the culture show
with Lauren LaRosa.
I'm back. And I got the mess.
Talk to me.
MB, before I go to, I'm going to take y'all to court this hour, but before we go to court, you wanted something for the light-skinned brothers?
Yes.
Last
Shout out to all
hour.
the light-skinned brothers.
I wanted to make you
Drake,
feel
Steph
included.
Curry, myself, Chris Brown.
Because you feel like people always, they question you. They don't think you black, right?
He's
No,
not.
just
He's
Charlamagne.
Dominican.
Just Charlamagne. Everybody know I'm black.
J. Cole got one in the can for you, too. Did you hear this line?
No, let me hear.
If I could do it all over, then I never would swap. I seen good, I seen bad, had my melanin mocked. I seen lifelong friends turn to devilish ox.
Woo!
I like that.
Have my melanin mocked.
I like that.
Melanin
Line. Mocked.
you was
Or
feeling that.
lack thereof. You had your lack of melanin mocked.
Don't mock my melanin.
Yeah,
He mock your melanin. He mock your Beijing. He don't let you rock.
Mock your melanin. There's a room at Diddy House for that. You know what I'm saying? On the door it says you can come in here and get your melanin mocked.
Wow.
Speaking of.
Wow.
Speaking
Get your
of.
melanin mocked? Mocked.
Oh, don't act like you don't know. You know the
Now
you
you
know
over
that
here
door.
acting like you don't know
Exactly.
something.
You know the sign on that door.
Speaking of Diddy, right, we're going back to some court stuff. So Diddy yesterday, his team filed a motion for evidentiary hearing. So they're asking the court to have let's sit down and have a conversation about these unlawful leaks that are happening at the hands of Homeland Security. What they're specifically pointing at is that Cassie video that was broke by CNN, the 2016 beating video. So they're saying that they believe for the last 7 months, the Homeland Security team has been on this campaign to undermine and smear Diddy, because that makes the public sway in his opinion, and it makes the trial a lot more unfair to him. So they're like, listen, we want a gag order so that the government or nobody can like speak on certain things that happen within court that should be contained. They want discovery to happen about the leak. So they want the court to go in and find out where things came from, like who gave that video to CNN, who's been providing statements to other outlets that were harmful or could be deemed as harmful and unfair to the trial. And then once they do all that, they want to have a conversation or a hearing about the leaks, because they feel like whatever is found to be leaked or given out by the wrong parties or by Homeland Security should be suppressed. So basically what they're saying is they trying to get that Cassie video. No way should this be something that is substantial or can be held against him in court, which to me they are too late on, and it is not a good look because we've already seen it.
Yeah, we already seen it.
He's already apologized for it.
I don't know how they can do a full, if they go to trial, a full jury with not one person seeing that video.
It's impossible.
It was everywhere. It was on CNN. It was on the news. It was on late nights. It's been on social media. It's been everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not the highest grade of weed in the dispensary, nor am I an attorney, but that don't sound like the greatest defense, okay? Because first of all, it doesn't matter if the feds leaked the video. What matters is what you were on the video doing, and what you were doing is putting hands on a woman. Okay. Number two, you lied and said you had never done any of those things, and then we saw the video. So it's going to be hard for him to get the benefit of the doubt on anything in regards to Cassie. So
100%.
Right. Unless because the last judge said part of the reason for not giving him a bail was because of that video. But if they can't use that video, then they can't say that's the reason why they're not giving him a bail.
I think if you remove that video, the prosecutors are going to come with the witness tampering stuff that I'm sure they're going to try and provide evidence with this time around once this is finally heard in court, that third bail or like whatever. So there's other stuff, but I will say maybe on like a technicality thing where they can, if they can prove that Homeland Security was really on this smear campaign, which it violates his rights, he might can figure out something because of that. But again, the jury is going to be like, but at the same time,
but is it a smear campaign if the stuff I'm trying to smear you on is actually true? Aren't smear campaigns usually
but that's not what you're being,
lies?
But that's not what you're being convicted of. That's not what you're being charged with. That's not what you're being indicted for.
So shouldn't the lawyers be focusing on what he's actually indicted for instead of bringing attention to the video that we all saw?
That video's not going on nobody's
putting
head.
hands on a woman.
The attention is there. That's why they trying to get it out. They trying to calm the attention down.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Baby oil took the attention off that video. It's just true. I mean, let's just be honest.
Not totally. That video
did
still
a lot.
there.
No. Baby oil and the thought of gay sex really took a lot of attention off that video. It did. That was true. Yes, it did. And
It did a little bit, but you still think of that video.
And the fact he got arrested, like he got arrested for racketeering and all kind of other stuff. It took a lot of attention off that video. Yes,
I don't care how slippery
like
that
that.
baby oil get you. That video is still there and still
Absolutely.
top of mind. Now, I want to get to this before we have to wrap up. So remember, you guys, earlier this week I reported there's like thousands and thousands of people calling this Diddy hotline.
Yes.
And you guys had asked me in the room, like, we want to know more about how they vet the people. And I was like, I'll get that information for us. So I received the information. So I talked to attorney Tony Busby's office and I asked him a few questions about how they vet that hotline. So they say they have 100 people filled in the calls. And of course, not all calls are alleged victims. Alleged victims, they say, are actually a small percentage of the calls. They get more calls from people just saying thank you for the work that they're doing. And a fraction of those calls are people who think they might have evidence or information that can help in the cases that they are going to actually move forward with filing. When a victim is calling, though, first that victim is vetted at the call center by those 100 people. Then once they make it past that, they're vetted by lawyers and different staff at their California co-counsel office. Then the last step, these victims are vetted by former police officers and then lawyers at the Busby law firm again. Now, throughout this process, they're asking them, for different things like corroboration, things for like dates, any witnesses to the stuff that these people are claiming, any evidence. And obviously they know that like some of the people who are calling aren't going to be serious and are going to be fraudulent. And that happens, they say, no matter what type of hotline or case like this, not just because it's Diddy. Like that will happen when you put out a hotline.
It's going to increase because it's Diddy. I'm sure, I bet you they won't take the percentage of jokes on there.
They said that it's not as many as we think.
Yeah, right.
And they say that none of these people would ever get to a point where a case would be filed in court. And I also asked them, how do you make sure that if somebody calls and that person's a fraud and then they call back again with another name, how do you sort through that? And they say you can't stop people from doing that, but all they do is just they take them back through the process to make sure everything is legitimate. And just because somebody's info is taken, that does not mean they're going to move forward with filing anything in court. They wanted to emphasize that. So, I mean, I answered y'all questions.
They can still lie. They can still make up stories. They can still, and these people could have actual could have seen Diddy. They could have been at Diddy's party, but none of the things that alleged to happen could have happened to them. Like the young lady that allegedly told her ex-boyfriend to lie for her. Things like that could happen, right?
I would love to know what the joke side of it looked like, though. Like the voicemails. That's probably hilarious. But yeah, so that's it for this hour. Did that make y'all feel any more confident in that hotline? No.
Nope.
All right. Well, that was Jess with the Mess with Lauren LaRosa. Charlamagne!
Yes.
Who you giving that down to?
There's a young woman named Laura Lawson. She needs to come to the front of the congregation. We would like to have a word with her. It's just another example of how this society does not care about what happens to men's bunkies.
Why you look at me, Envy?
We'll discuss.
I was looking at him, but we'll get to it next. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
You're checking out the Breakfast Club.
Don't be out here acting like a donkey.
Hee-haw, bitch. Hee-haw.
It's time for Donkey of the Day.
I'm a big boy. I can take it. If he feel I deserve it, ain't no big deal.
I know Charlamagne guy gonna have some funny shit say out his mouth.
If you gotta say something you may not agree with, doesn't mean I'm mean.
Who's getting that donkey?
That donkey. That don't.
Donkey of the day right there.
The Breakfast Club, bitches.
You can call me the donkey of the day, but I mean no harm.
Yes, Donkey of the Day for Thursday, October 10th goes to a 36-year-old woman named Laura Lawson. Laura is from Pennsylvania, Adams County to be exact, and she is facing multiple felony charges after an alleged string of violence against a man. Can I be honest here? I don't like when people say, can I be honest? Because it feels like they were lying to you the whole time, but I just need to be more honest than usual. Society don't really care about women committing violence against grown-ass men. It's not a thing. Let's stop lying to ourselves. Adult males in this country get laughed at when we get beat on by women, beat up by women. You might get some sympathy if a woman shoots you, but you probably have to die. And even in death, someone will be asking, well, what did he do? Okay, women committing violence against men is treated like a complete and total stand-up comedy in this country. Society has created a complete and total social injustice, okay, for male victims of domestic violence. Do you know male victims of domestic violence have reported barriers that prevent them from contacting law enforcement, such as fear that law enforcement would not believe that they had been a victim of domestic violence, and men believe that their reports of domestic violence would not be taken seriously. It's nasty out here for us, and I'm going to tell you something else. Not only do people not take male victims of domestic violence serious, nobody takes us serious when our buttocks are involved. When you are...
See?
See what I'm saying?
You see?
Why does that elicit?
It's not funny.
Laughter. Why?
It's not funny.
When you are a grown-ass man and someone has fondled your fanny in some type of way, nobody cares. And Laura Lawson is out here tampering with tushes. Let me explain. On October 2nd, charging documents state that officers responded to reports of a woman on the hood of a vehicle. That woman was Laura Lawson. She attempted to run away. Police found her, and when they found her, she was wearing a hospital identification bracelet and EKG pads after jumping on the hood of the car of her victim. Now, let's talk about this story. Reports say Lawson began hitting and spitting on the window before being shook off the vehicle by the driver. He must have started swerving like he was in a Fast and Furious movie. Get off my hood. How did this happen? Well, police documents say earlier that day, inside a residence, Lawson requested that the victim, keyword victim, come upstairs. And reports say she then tackled this poor man, bit him on the nose, and then police reports say Laura Lawson allegedly took down this man's sweatpants and bit him on the ass.
Oh.
And after she bit him on the ass, she said, I love the taste of your... Fill in the blank. What do you think she said, Envy? What do you think she said she loved the taste of?
Ish.
Lauren, what do you think she said the taste of? What do you think she said she loved the taste of?
Crack.
His blood.
Oh.
His blood. Now, let me tell you something. I was a huge fan of the Suki Stackhouse books by Charlene Harris, Dropping the Clues Bombs for Charlene Harris. And I was a huge fan of the TV show True Blood based off those books. I do not recall ever, never, ever, a vampire sucking blood through some man's bunkie. Vampires will bite your neck. I think I recall them biting wrists, but I never seen a vampire seek to get blood through anal means. Now, the victim told police that he then tried to escape to the bedroom, where Lawson eventually found him and demanded that he bow to her. Can you imagine if the roles were reversed and I was speaking on a man doing this to a woman? Everybody would be calling this man a monster, rightfully so. But Lauren LaRosa laughed, okay? Well, see, when it's a woman, people chuckle, okay? When they hear about her chewing on his cheeks, it's funny. Trying to get the blood from where he releases the brown. This woman, Laura Lawson, tried to get this man to bow, and he refused to comply. So Laura then, according to court documents, mounted him and hit him in the face multiple times, causing a busted lip and other injuries to his face. Investigators state that out of fear of more violence, he complied to Laura Lawson and got on his hands and knees. And then Laura forced him to commit simulated sexual acts involving a water bottle.
Oh.
You know she was acting like that bottle of water was a penis, and she probably made him suck it, probably slapped it around his mouth.
Stop that. Don't do that again.
Do that again. Do it again.
Why is this funny?
It's not funny. I don't know why she's laughing.
Laura started with butt play. You don't think she ended with it? She took that water bottle, went back there, and said H2, and then he screamed out, "Oh!"
Oh my God.
The victim, a male, a grown-ass man, said that he was able to escape the room and attempted to leave the residence. She saw him trying to escape, so she grabbed his car keys, her 3-year-old child, and drove off. Laura, you doing all this with a child in the house, you evil-ass Batman villain. Police state that Lawson later returned to the residence in the vehicle with the child, demanding that the victim get in the car with all his belongings. Once the victim put his laptop and personal belongings in the car, charging documents say that Lawson displayed her middle finger, flipped them off, and drove away from the scene and hit a parked car in the process, disabling the vehicle. When Lawson returned to the scene, she saw the victim being driven by another individual, and that's when she jumped on the hood of the car. Listen, man. Clearly, Laura is dealing with mental health issues, or she's just making moves based off of straight emotion. Either way, she has to deal with the consequences of her actions. So being that she's facing multiple charges, and none of them are sex crimes, bothers me. Okay, she's facing multiple charges, including felony robbery, aggravated assault, theft, and indecent assault. Is indecent assault a sex crime? Because it should be. Bunkies were bitten. Do you hear me out there, America? Bunkies were bitten. Water bottles were used to simulate sex acts. If the bottles were Ciroc, would people take this more seriously? Huh? If the man's bottom was breached by the bite of another man, would people take this one-woman freak-off seriously? I don't know.
I don't want to talk. It's enough.
You're right, Boosie. I've had enough, too. Please let Remy Ma give Laura Lawson the biggest hee-haw.
Hee-haw, hee-haw. You stupid motherfucker. Are you dumb?
Nobody takes violence against men from women seriously, and nobody takes it seriously when our cheeks are involved. This woman says she liked the taste of his blood after biting his butt. So then she uses the water bottle to simulate sex acts. She was trying to get some blood from back there. That's what she was trying to do.
Indecent assault is sexual assault that does not involve rape.
All bunkies
So
matter.
a water bottle ain't rape?
Yes.
Oh.
I didn't write the definition. I just read it.
Why do you think it was funny? That's not funny.
You didn't think when he did the slap face thing that was funny?
You see what I'm saying? Don't nobody care.
That was
when a grown man's cheeks
People
are
slow mo
involved.
that. I really think that if people slow mo that, you would find it fun.
It's like a fart. For some reason, anything that got to do with a butt, you fart, you giggle. You see what I'm saying? This is crazy.
That poor man.
Don't worry. When the Men Too movement start.
Now, how big was she that she could mount him and hold him down?
Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter to you. See, that's what they do to women. What was she wearing? What does it matter? What does it matter? What does it matter how big she was? Or how big he was? What does it matter? Nobody takes this serious.
Why you pick up that water bottle after all that?
Yeah, you ain't gotta put that water bottle to your mouth like that after that poor bro.
You should have thought that one through, bro. Put that water bottle down slowly.
Slapped his face all with it. Like, okay. All right.
I don't like this one.
We believed you. You ain't have to act it out, too.
I ain't laughed as much at you in so long.
I don't like the energy in this one.
You want to act out the whole thing? Okay, just asking. All
What
right.
you about to act out?
Thank you for that donkey today. And salute to that poor brother out there, man. We with you, brother.
Yeah.
All hashtag
Sending
all
him some healing energy.
all bunkies matter, man. Hashtag. All right. Okay. When we come back.
Charlamagne, what are you all right?
I am fine.
Yeah, don't pick up that water bottle for another hour.
Okay.
All right, guys. Come on. Grow up.
This is not funny.
And it got that tip.
And that water bottle got the tip on it.
We have a guest coming in next, okay? Everybody straighten up. The pastor's coming in the room.
Yes, Pastor Stephanie Okafor.
Yes.
She'll be joining us.
She has a great new book out called The Power of Dreams.
You can pray over that water, make it holy water.
All right. It's the Breakfast
Power
Club.
of Your Dreams, a guide to hearing and understanding how God speaks while you sleep. Okay, somebody in this room needs Jesus.
All right, we'll do it to It's the Breakfast Club. Come on.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Jess is on maternity leave, so Lauren LaRosa is filling in. And we got a special guest in the building. We have Pastor Stephanie E.K. Okafor.
Thank you. It's
How are
good
you
to
feeling?
be here. I feel good.
She got a new book out now, The Power of Your Dreams.
Yeah.
I love a good dream book. I'm the type of person that I keep dream books by my bedside, so when I wake up, I can look and see what certain things mean. Is that what got you into wanting to write this book?
No, so I encountered God when I was 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways that was so consistent was that he would speak to me through dreams. And it's interesting when you talk about, using like having books that tell you about symbols and things like that, because I think one of the reasons why maybe sometimes people don't even understand the fullness of their dream is because they pick it apart. And the whole dream is telling a message. So if you only pick it apart, you may not understand the fullness of it. But dreams has been so consistent for me ever since 9 years old.
That is a great point, because I never look at the whole totality of my dream. I find like one thing that stood out to me.
It's like a WebMD of dreams.
Yeah.
When people like get books or go on Google and you're like, you only look at one thing, and that's one of the things I talk about in the book, where you have to look at it like a whole story, and to understand in each symbol, kind of like tell what is the dream really saying.
Now, you said you had an encounter with God at the age of 9.
Yeah.
What was that encounter? What did he say? What was that conversation? What just enlighten us with what it was.
Yeah, so my father was murdered when I was 8 months old.
Oh, man.
And so I grew up with like a lot of anger. And I was like, man, God, if you didn't take my father, it was just another reason why I got angry again. But that day, literally, like I remember being in my room and I could feel like a presence in my room. And I go to my mom's room, she's up. So the moment I hop in her bed, she's out cold, like not moving, not responding. And I feel the same presence again in her room. And I was like, God, I'm like, if this is of you, cause wind to flow through my ankles. Out of nowhere, the windows are not open, nothing. There was like this wind that just flows through me. Because with my eyes closed, I could see a man sitting, but his whole makeup was like light. So then I removed like the covers of my eyes and I see him with my eyes open, sitting there. He gets up, he walks over to my mom, and I start asking him questions because I thought it was God. And I was like, where were you when my dad died? And he starts saying something I had no clue what he was saying. He walks over to my mom, he opens her hand, he puts like this piece of paper in her hand, closes it, disappears. She wakes up that morning, her pastor calls her, and he was like, hey, I was in prayer and I just feel led to tell you that there was an angelic encounter in your home. But he didn't know to the degree of what he was even saying. And I was like, Mom, I'm telling you, this happened. Randomly, the document we had been literally ripping the whole house apart for just shows up on the table. And then I'm like, wait, was that the document? Like, was that what it symbolized? Hand, right? Like, they put in our hand. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I met God. And then I started hearing the voice of God. And he was like, no, that was not me. That was an angel.
What did the angel look like? Did it look like homie from the Crossroads video? Touching people between the eyes? Or?
No, it was, so he had like he had a human form, but the only difference, his whole makeup was light. That was, everything about him was like light radiating. So I couldn't even tell you how to describe his features because it was just light.
I was going to say, like, for you, it was a lot more clear, but like some people think they're hearing things, but it might not be clear that it's God to them.
Yeah.
How do you coach people through being able to let that voice break through and understanding it is God?
Yeah, I think one of the key things is there's the foundational element of it, right? You don't need to read the Bible for God to speak to you, but you need to have an understanding of his voice in the Bible so that you're not deceived by the voices you hear. And so when you have a good foundation of knowing the voice of God, even in his word, then when you begin to hear him or you see things in the book, one of the things I talk about, even before I get into the subject of dreams, are the different ways we experience God's voice.
To the four primary ways.
Yeah, the four primary ways. So there's some people who they're feelers, right? God has emotions. The Bible talks about so many types of emotions, peace, love, anger, all these things. So there are people that you might walk into a room, there's a deal on the table for you, everything checks off, but then you're not at peace with it. Something is like messing up with you. Like, I don't think this is for me. The problem is that if we don't have a God consciousness about life, we think it's us feeling that way. Yeah. But the Lord is trying to share his emotions with you. Like, hey, I'm not in that. It might look good on paper, but I'm not in that. So those are people that feel. They're people that know. There's some people that just have an instinctive knowing. And for many, that is more heightened when you're a kid. There's a beauty with being a child. Your intelligence is not in the way. The older we get, our wisdom blocks us from discerning the voice of God because we're trying to, outthink it. We're overthinking it rather, like, where did this come from? Where did that come from? And then there's the hearers. There are people who, audibly, it's more rare to hear the voice of God audibly now, but he also speaks in the form of thoughts. So there are these distinctive thoughts or series of thoughts that you would really like hear in your head. And it has nothing to do with how you would naturally think,
how you would naturally, like, think about a matter, the same way that anxiety has a voice, pain has a voice. The Lord also speaks to you through your thoughts. And then there's seers, and that's where dreams come in.
For me, I remember when my wife's father passed away, right? And it was the weirdest thing. We had balloons downstairs.
Yeah.
And it was her birthday, and my wife out of nowhere just started thinking about her dad. And I don't know if this was whatever it was, but out of nowhere, like midnight, 1 a.m., the balloons that were in the kitchen actually blew up the stairs and came into the bedroom.
Were they helium balloons?
I had to leave that house.
Were they helium balloons?
Yeah, they were helium balloons. Yeah, of course they would rise, and you would think they would rise. No, let me finish.
No, but to go right up the stairs.
But to go up the stairs and into the actual bedroom.
Don't we discount his experience with God? God speaks to Benjamin too.
But it could have went to any one of the bedrooms in the house. It could have went to.
It went right to the bedroom.
You know what? See, this is why I don't like talking to him.
No, I believe that was a sign. I believe that was him. I really do. I'm not doing it. It just sounded.
Was it helium? Yes. Oh, duh. No, but it was out of my house, out of anywhere those balloons could have went. And the fact that she was talking about her dad and crying over him several hours earlier just made me feel like, damn, there are signs and there are angels. So how do you, I guess, break down different dreams, and what do the different dreams mean?
Yeah, so in the book I talk about just different types of dreams, because the key thing, even before you get into that, is to know why we dream, right? God, and dreams can come from different places. A dream can come from you, a dream can come from God, a dream can come from, the enemy. But when it comes from God, God has a desire to speak to us more than we even desire to hear from him. Because regardless of where we find ourselves in life, regardless of how successful we perceive ourselves to be, regardless of all the things we have going on, we are first his creation. And there's something there. Your life is not random. He desires to do life with you. He desires to partner with you. And so there are types of dreams, like especially when people see their, loved ones who had passed on, those could be encouragement dreams. Now, how the dream is presented matters, because when someone passes away, they lose consciousness of the physical realm, but that does not mean that who they are, their essence is gone, right? They're transitioning to a different life, whether that's with the Lord or, the opposite. Nobody wants that. but they're transitioning now to like an eternal life, in the spiritual realm. They're not fully just gone, who they are, the core of who they are, like their spirit, man, is still with him.
All right, we have more with Pastor Stephanie Okafor when we come back. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ and Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa filling in for Jess. And we're still kicking it with Pastor Stephanie Okafor. Talk about, if you feel comfortable, about the time you went to the doctor and God told you something different than what your doctor told you.
Oh, that happened to me. So when I was pregnant, I have a daughter. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I started experiencing like a lot of pain. We go to our OBGYN rather, and he's like trying to, even confirm the pregnancy. And he's like, man, I don't see a pregnancy here. I just see some things that does not look good. Like, you need to go to the ER. So we rush to the ER. They tell me that I have like these fibroids that have gotten really big because of the pregnancy and the blood flow going like to the womb. So we share the results with the doctor, and he literally calls me. He was like, because of the size of these fibroids, because of the location of these fibroids, you need to terminate the pregnancy. And you need to terminate this because from his analysis, the baby won't have room to grow, and the fibroids could cause, and even if, we take the baby to term, the bleeding is going to be too excessive. And he called back to back. He was like, I'm telling you, you need to terminate this and try again. Let's terminate it. Let's take the fibroids out and try again. And so I remember like I'm still in a lot of pain, and I just like I'm praying and calling out to God. And that night I have a dream, and the Lord comes to me and says there are two key things. He says, no harm is going to come to your child, and he hands me a Bible. And when I woke up, I knew that the Bible was represented stand on my word. So then I started opening scriptures that spoke about healing, and I'm like, okay, God, no harm will come to her, and this is what your word says about healing. And so I got another OBGYN because I'm like, God has shown me like no harm is going to come to this child. And the other OBGYN, she was like, I'm going to be optimistic, but I'm going to tell you there is a scare and a concern. So we need to get a specialist doctor, involved. and we need to watch this carefully. All of a sudden, everything that was a concern started being reversed. So initially they're like, we don't know if you're going to have room for this baby to grow. The doctor is like, oh, you got room for 2. You know, but the key thing is getting that word from God. And I believe that's why in the busyness of our lives, God still finds that place when we're sleeping to speak to us and show us, like, I know everything in your world is telling you this is not going to work, but I'm showing you that I'm with you.
You talk about in the book about how the Bible and science talk about the benefits of getting good night's sleep. What break that down? I never heard that from the Bible perspective.
Yeah, because biblically, you know, we are body, soul, and spirit. And I think so many times, even in like Christianity, we only focus on like, you know, the things we got to do, like the spirit realm, the soul realm, but there is like your body. And in order for, you have to be a good steward over your body. You know, you have to, there are things that even as believers is just as important than eating well, just as important as working out, because the body is the vehicle, is the thing that carries your spirit, is the thing that embodies your soul. So if your body is not healthy, that's not good stewardship. You know, so when you're able to get proper rest, and there's such a connection between, you know, science and even, you know, our spirituality, because from a scientific standpoint, when you don't have enough rest, you have brain fog. That affects your ability to even remember your dreams. Because when you wake up and you come out of this place where you had an encounter or X, Y, and Z, your body needs to be healthy enough to process what was just deposited. And so if you're not getting enough rest, it's very similar to, you know, a computer. Like if you only allow your computer to die every single time, it causes memory loss over time. Same thing, if you only go to bed when you feel like shut down, like you're completely exhausted and you just crash, it's harder for you to remember your dreams because that also affects memory loss. You know, when you're waking up from those moments. And so being a good steward is looking at every part. Even the Bible talks about you prospering, you know, in all things, right? Not just in your spirit, but in your soul, in your body. So there's a scripture that talks about bring your whole body, your whole soul, and your whole spirit blameless before God. So he's after everything. That be a good steward because it all connects.
This like the conversation with you about dreams in the book feels like how people go and get like, can you read my palm? And but I know it's different. And growing up in a church, my grandma, she don't play that. Like we're not allowed to do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But then pastors will prophesy to you. Why can we do one thing but not the other?
That's a great question. So when you look at the spiritual realm, just like in life, right? There's good, there's evil. The spiritual realm, there's good, there's evil. So it's just like if you're praying, let's say you're praying for envy, right? And you're like, God, what are your thoughts about envy? And then the Holy Spirit might start showing you things about him.
Ciroc, baby oil.
Envy, that is not your portion. Charlamagne, get it together.
This is what I pray. When I pray, this is what God shows me.
Envy, this is not. No.
But you also got to figure out like when somebody's being evil or they joking, like because he would pray for her eyelashes, right? And it's to the point where it's like you just joke too much. No. There's no baby oil with me. Continue on. We're being serious.
No, none of that.
Way too much. What's wrong with you?
But the beauty is it's coming from God, right? And what comes from him, it's for your good. And first of all, it is the source that you can trust.
Right.
Because it's the source that created you. It's the source that knows your life. It is the source that is for you. When you go to someone reading your palms, a tarot card reader, a psychic, the source is demonic.
Question, you know, when people do pray, is some of the prayers frivolous? Like, for instance, like if somebody prays for their team, right? Not pray to be healthy or to be safe during the game, but pray their team wins, or Lauren prays for a man, or Charlamagne prays to be a little taller.
I've never prayed for that ever.
Like how do those type of prayers work when it comes to it? Is it one of those things where write it off, or is it one of those things to honestly to pray for things that, like, I pray that the Giants win next week? That's not a real prayer, or is it?
No, I think wherever God is so kind. Doesn't mean that just because you're like, man, I pray the Giants win, and God's like, okay, the Giants are going to win. But as you grow in God, you start to understand that, you know, the power of prayer is when you pray in alignment with his will. But you have to first know his will, so that takes maturity, right? But when you're still in that, like, you know, stage of being like a baby, there are random things you can ask, and sometimes he will do some random things just to show you he hears you and he loves you.
How can they follow you, Stephanie?
No, I'm on Instagram, Stephanie Ike, IKE, and then I have a YouTube channel, Stephanie Ike Okafor. Yeah, TikTok, Stephanie Ike Okafor. Yeah.
You preach at Torah and Sarah Church, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the name of that church?
One church.
One church.
And the name of the book and where people can get it.
The Power of Your Dreams. And it's available everywhere.
A guide to hearing and understanding how God speaks while you sleep.
All right. Well, before we get up out of here, let's close on a prayer.
Yes. Heavenly Father, we thank you for just everything you've done in this moment, Lord God. We thank you, even in talking about this book, because it's really not about just getting a book out, but it's really about getting people to be awakened to knowing that you speak and you desire to speak to them, whether they're awake or whether they're asleep, but even the power of their dreams. Many people are ignoring their dreams in this time, and there are words you're trying to alert them about. There are warnings you want to make them aware of. There are ways you want to prepare them. There are ways you want to encourage them. And so, Lord, I just pray that you will continue to be glorified in and through everything that we do. We love you, Lord. We thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Pastor
y'all.
Stephanie E.K. Okafor.
Yes.
All right.
Come on.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Thank you.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. We are the Breakfast Club. We got to salute a couple people for joining us today. We got to salute Pastor Stephanie Okafor for stopping through.
Salute to Miss Okafor, man. Make sure you pick up her new book, The Power of Dreams. Hold on. Yes, The Power of Dreams, a guide to hearing and understanding how God speaks while you sleep.
All right. And also the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore.
Governor Wes Moore. A lot of people think he's going to be the future president. I said during the interview a decade ago when I got introduced to him by my man John Sykes. John Sykes said he's going to be the next Barack Obama. That's what he said.
Yep.
So people saw that in him a long time ago. So for the first time for him to run for office and become a governor, hey, man.
Yep.
God be having things in people's cards.
All right. Well, when we come back, we got the positive notice, the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lon LaRosa filling in for Jess. It's time to get up out of here.
It is, man. I want to tell everybody, though, my 4th annual Mental Wealth Expo is happening this Saturday at the Marriott Marquis, Times Square from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, it is a day of mental health education and healing in honor of World Mental Health Day. I'm bringing together some of the best psychiatrists and therapists. If you've been there the last 3 years, then you already know what to expect. So we will see you from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Go to mentalwealthexpo.com for more details. It is a free event, open to all ages, okay? So we'll see you on Saturday. Now, I want to tell you the positive note. Give everybody a little life hack, okay, on how to protect your peace. For your peace, don't be afraid to delete. Don't be afraid to block. Don't be afraid to disown. Don't be afraid to leave. Don't be afraid to ignore. Have a blessed day.
Breakfast Club, bitches!
Y'all finished or y'all done?